all, thanks a lot to Ravi and the team of ELETS for inviting me here. And I'm very grateful to be part of this group of eminent speakers, and I'll not take much time. So, as Ravi has said, that I am currently working in the power sector and am heading the distribution companies, three distribution companies of the state, and the Renewable Energy Corporation, and then there is a power purchase company also. I'm chairman of that also. So I live in a very strange kind of situation that I have to promote the renewable sector, which hits the distribution sector in a adverse manner. That is what it is being said. Though we have been trying few things so that the integration of renewable energy into the state grid in a way ends up in helping the distribution sector. And then I have to cut down the power purchase cost also, for which also I have to again uh, talk to a person which I myself am in a different role as chairman distribution companies. So that is a strange situation I have to work in, and as I am principal secretary of the department also, so I have to coordinate with all these different organizations in the power sector. So first a brief perspective of the power sector. So after the enactment of the law in the year 2003, that is the Electricity Act, the generation sector, which was delicensed in the year 2003, has by and large settled, and there is a lot of private sector play also in the generation sector, and the generation companies, a lot of investment has come, and both in the renewable and the conventional thermal power generation sector, and it has eased by and large. And transmission sector, though it is a niche sector, and PGCIL, that is Government of India, PSU, and the state transmission utilities, they are also working quite well and they are earning their profits. But the major problem lies in the distribution sector, which is with the states. In some of the states, the part of the distribution sector has been privatized, but the real problem in the power sector lies in the distribution component of the whole power sector. And Rajasthan also is facing different kind of problems and challenges in the distribution sector. So, like in the current times, the COVID times, so because of the squeeze in liquidity, because the state government in Rajasthan, as in other states, deferred the recovery of the dues from the retail consumer, our distribution companies faced a lot of problems. And perhaps power was the only sector where, without getting our accruals or recoveries from the retail and consumer, even then we were forced to remain in the business. As regards the private business sector, they were not able to make profits or run their businesses, so most of them shut down. But in the power sector, we had to run our generation plants and the transmission utilities and the distribution utilities all, but we were not able to recover money. There was huge liquidity crunch. Government of India played its role by giving some kind of concessions, and state government also gave some kind of concessions, but we ran into strong liquidity crunch. But somehow we were able to manage, and we have now started receiving our dues from the retail and consumer, and after getting some kind of assistance from the loans of the other financial institutions of Government of India, we have by and large recovered from that old scenario. Though our projects, particularly in the renewable sector, like establishing of the wind parks or the solar power parks, have got a hit, and they have got delayed for at least for a period of 6 to 9 months. But they will also, in due course, I think, become functional. As regard to like making the innovations or transformation in the power sector, what we have been doing here is that by use of information technology, we have brought in a major change where in the whole distribution sector, we have started energy auditing at different voltage levels, like 33 kV voltage level, then 11 kV, then the low tension lines, and then distribution transformer metering we have gone ahead with, and retail and consumer level metering, we have taken up a project currently of around 500 crore rupees, where we are putting in the smart meters at the retail consumer end. So if we start doing this on a large scale, voltage level assessment or the energy auditing thing, then we are able to very precisely determine the technical and other commercial losses which the distribution companies are facing, because now in all of these states, in particularly in a emerging economy like India, where the renewable sector is also growing at a very fast pace, and the conventional power transmission and distribution are facing challenges from the renewable sector. So, and the distribution companies are in a way losing their premier commercial consumers like the industrial sector or the non-domestic consumer sector, which is basically the commercial sector like the malls and big commercial places, institutions, colleges, and hospitals, which normally cross-subsidize the low-end consumer like the agriculture or the low-end domestic consumer more than 150 units per month. So it is a kind of utility death spiral in which the distribution companies are entering, like because of the high-end consumers exiting from the net of the distribution companies, because they have started adopting, like they have started buying power either from the open access network directly from the power exchanges, or they have started setting up their own captive power plants, or they have started adopting even the energy efficiency measures, which has to some extent reduced the energy consumption. So as the premier consumer is moving out of the net of distribution companies, the burden of subsidy on the state utility or the state government is increasing to keep the tariff low for the poor category consumer who is not able to bear the actual cost of supply of power which is made to him. So they have started making more and more commercial losses. So it has become very important to reduce the losses, for which we have taken up this initiative of energy auditing at different voltage levels in the distribution network. And of late, we have also taken up a big campaign through the analysis reports which we obtained from the smart metering project which we have taken up, and we have recently brought down our AT&C losses to the tune of around 2%, which makes around 1,000 crore rupees. Every 1% loss of AT&C losses in Rajasthan accounts for around more than 450 crore of rupees. So that was the one initiative. And second is like what we have done is Rajasthan is one of the states which has very successfully implemented the distribution franchisee model in the urban areas. We have 4 distribution franchisees. One is in Kota, another one is in Bikaner, another one is in Bharatpur, and one is in Ajmer. They are very successfully operating. And in the next stage, we have taken another set of 4 districts now, which is a mix of urban and rural area. And we intend to give them to the private entrepreneur who will submit as a trajectory of loss reduction, AT&C loss reduction, and will accordingly share the profits with the state utility, and part of the profit would be taken up as the expenses or the remuneration by that distribution franchisee. So this is another model which we have adopted to reduce the losses and make the state distribution utilities more viable. We have also started direct DBT, direct benefit transfer for transfer of subsidy, particularly the agriculture subsidy, in 5 districts of the state, because there are some pockets in the state which have high agriculture consumption, where the agriculture consumption is as high as 70% of the total consumption in that particular area. So the DBT, for as I was hearing that the 2 speakers before me had spoken about the IT interventions, particularly about the use of Aadhaar for direct benefit transfer. So I would like to throw some light on that we have already started using the Aadhaar and the bank account, the linkage of Aadhaar, the bank account, and the K number of the electricity bill, so that the agriculture subsidy goes directly into the bank account of the consumer. And we are wanting to create a kind of system where the bill of full amount is being generated for the farmer, and the subsidy is being transferred to the bank account of the farmer directly. So currently what is happening that the subsidy is deducted from the actual bill amount, and there is a big time lag, huge time lag, in receiving the subsidy into the amount of the DISCOM, which again creates a lot of liquidity crunch, and then we have to go for OPEX loan from the banks, which comes at a very high capital cost, and then again it puts us in a kind of debt trap situation. So this would also increase, and the new Electricity Amendment Act, which is being proposed, which is under consideration with the Ministry of Power. So there is a provision for DBT for implementation in whole of the country. So we have already started that. And the another intervention which we have taken in our power companies is for reduction of power purchase cost. As for the distribution utilities, the total expenses, the total cost of operating a company, it entails around 75% of the power purchase cost. And there are a number of other parameters which are linked to it, like the DSM charges, the UI charges, and recently down the real-time market, RTM has been launched by the Union Power Minister. So Rajasthan has also started using that RTM open source platform market also in a very efficient manner. And in the last period of around 2 months, we have reduced our power purchase cost to the tune of 100 crores. So this is another IT intervention, though it has been taken up by the Ministry of Power, Government of India, and it is left to the states that how well they project their demand and how well they pose their requirement on the power exchange in terms of the accuracy or the data analytics which they make in terms of the gap in demand and consumption of power. So more money they will be able to make at the end of the day. So in that also we have done a lot of cost reduction. Another intervention, like when I was speaking to Ravi, he mentioned about the big projects and the new solar policy which the state has announced. So we announced our new renewable solar and wind and hybrid policy in the year 2019, and we replaced it with our existing policy at that time, which was announced in the year 2014. So what majorly we have done is that we have brought in our policy in tune with the current times. After taking experience or looking at the success stories in different states and the attempts being made by Solar Energy Corporation of India and the experiences of few other countries. So the major change which we have brought in our new renewable energy policy is the promotion of the hybrid renewable energy parks. Like as we are aware that the generation of solar power in the daytime is very high, but it comes down as night progresses, and the generation of wind power is very high depending on the speed of the wind, and it starts generating more megawatts in the late evening when the solar power is coming down in terms of generation, in terms of the megawatt. So in hybrid policy, and we have already started installing of 600 megawatts of hybrid power plant, and it is an investment which will be made in a coming period of around 9 to 10 months. And Adani Renewable Green Energy has taken up that project. They have won the bid from SECI. So this is one major amendment which we have made in our policy, so that the problem of intermittency and variability of renewable power, which becomes a major challenge when we try to integrate the renewable energy with the state power grid or with the PGCIL, it is being faced, that would be resolved in part. Another change which we have made is that we have given a lot of concessions. If there is any developer or investor which wants to establish its renewable energy park on a megawatt scale, that is a utility scale, not for the smaller parks, there has to be something like minimum 100 megawatts or so. In that case, we have given special concessions if he wants to make investment for the storage facilities also, so that there is low cost RTC round the clock power supply into the state grid, so that we have minimum disturbance in our grid setup. So that is another change which we have made. Third category is that we have proposed investment for making our grid more and more flexible, so that the renewable energy generators which are wanting to invest in the state face minimum challenges in terms of the grid evacuation system which we have to provide, and we have given a lot of relaxations in the open access charges like wheeling charges and the additional surcharge and surcharge to the investors. And the other few, and this whole scenario involves a lot of IT interventions and data analytics to determine how the concessions have to be granted and what are the timings when this power would be supplied and what are the DSM charges. So, in nutshell, this is what we are doing, and there are few other initiatives, other category of initiatives which we have implemented here to transform the whole power sector scenario. Like one of the challenge which we face is now that if we run our generators on the MOD basis, that is the merit order dispatch. So, because of higher and higher injection of renewable energy in the state, because of the higher insolation in the western part of Rajasthan. So most of the investors across the country, like even if the Discom of Maharashtra or Discom of Madhya Pradesh are wanting to buy power, their investment is being done in the western part of Rajasthan, mostly in Bikaner, Jaisalmer and Jodhpur. So what is happening is that because of this higher and higher investment, there is a lot of pressure on our state grid. So we keep on upgrading our grid also. We have to manage for the reactive power system upgradation also. So a lot of investment is coming in that sector also. And we are working and we are joining hands with the PGCIL also and the Ministry for New and Renewable Energy also. So that is all what I wanted to say. And if there are any further questions, then I think I can take those questions to bring in more clarification on the steps being taken by the energy sector by Rajasthan. Thanks for organizing this, and it was really nice, and it was a time well spent, and it was a great learning after listening the eminent speakers. And the only thing which I would like to mention as my concluding remarks is that the whole idea of Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India and making India self-sufficient depends on the growth trajectory of the country. And energy certainly has a very strong and deep role to play into this. So the health of the energy sector is very critical and vital for the economic growth of the country. And 24/7 quality, and I would further go in saying that cheap power is very essential for our manufacturing sector and service sector both. We have been lagging behind in terms of the cost of supply of power to our industry in the country. So the manner in which the real-time market has come up in last period of 1 month when it was launched on 3rd of July. So it is giving us good results, and if it comes at par with the commodity market or the stock markets, if there are proper regulations in place, I think that can be one of the most critical parameters which can bring down the cost of power for our service and industrial sector. And the challenges which we face in our distribution sector, because we have become in many states now a surplus power category. We have most of the states have entered into that, like Maharashtra is power surplus and Rajasthan is power surplus and few other states are power surplus. But even then, we are not able to supply 24/7 quality power. This is because the challenges which are being faced in part by the transmission sector and but majorly by the distribution sector. So there is a dire need of power sector reforms in these two sectors, particularly considering the financial viability and cleaning their old messed up balance sheets. And I would go even to the extent of saying that if required, there has to be that too in some kind of modified form where there is a kind of very strong commitment on part of the state distribution utilities for making their financial and operational performance improvement. And further, the renewable sector is growing in a big way, particularly the generation sector. But the challenges which are seen by the renewable generators when they integrate the renewable power with the grid system, though there are projects in place regarding the smart grid, there is a national smart grid scheme also, and we are talking about a lot of IT intervention in management of power system networks, but lot still needs to be done because after the point of injection of the renewable power, there is still a system level cost of at least 1 rupees per unit which gets added into the renewable power. So that system level cost has to be brought down so that the renewable power generated passes on in a further cost effective manner to the retail and consumer. So a lot of work is being already done, but there is a kind of policy push which is needed so that the state distribution utilities also do not end up in getting a further financial mess, and the renewable generators are also more and more enthusiastic, and they are in the forefront to make further investments in the renewable sector. So that is the whole scenario, and power being one of the major requirement or input for the growing economy. So that is what I all wanted to say, and we are doing a lot of things in our country. And further, I think the another coming 4 or 5 years would be the most challenging period, and we'll do further good, I think.